It is late morning, early afternoon here. Finally sitting down to record this video. I actually recorded it yesterday too, but I had a lot of ums in there, and I know there's going to be several in this video too, but hopefully I'm aiming for less of them. That's my goal. It just happens. I'm going to talk slower. I always feel like I barrel through when I'm recording a video because I don't want it to be extra long for somebody, but I'm just gonna have to slow down. That's just the way it is. But I am gonna try and get right to the point. I had a couple people message me asking me what was up because I guess I probably left people hanging a little bit with my stories, and that wasn't my intention. I just wanted to give people a heads up so that they were watching out for this video and knew that more information was coming. And I wanted to record the video so that I could kind of compose my thoughts, because it helps me to kind of work through things and process things if I can talk through it. And I've had several of you follow me on this journey, excuse me, for the last, my business turned 14 in January. So several years now, I've had the privilege of several of you following me all of these years and being so super supportive, and I'm very grateful for that. So I wanted to just talk through a little bit of where I'm going to be taking my brand, Volume 25, and my business through the coming year, because I'm going to be pivoting, making some shifts, and the general gist of it is I'm just going to be focusing my attention on a slightly different creative avenue. My business isn't really going anywhere. I'm still going to have my website up. I'm still going to be packaging, printing, shipping orders just like normal. I'm just not going to be, I won't be releasing new collections in the way that I have in the past. And that's not to say that I won't pick that back up again. But right now, in the season of life that I'm in, I feel like I need to take a break from it. It's been a lot of creative, it's taken a lot from my creative well, and there's not been a lot in terms of return on that investment here lately. If I'm being completely honest, I think a lot of it started kind of maybe going a little more downhill when my health tanked and I didn't have the resources mentally or physically to put into my business what I had been putting into it up until that point. And I had just hit that creative burnout, horrible creative burnout, and it's been, I feel like, kind of trying to climb out of that hole ever since, and that's been 6 years or so. And there's been some ups and there's been some downs, and it's just been a lot of drastic ups and drastic downs. And I'm hoping that maybe with this change in focus, I can maybe get something to level out a little bit more and be a little bit more consistent with not as much of a demand on me to keep things going, because I'm tired. I'm just tired. And I still enjoy my art and everything, but we are at a point where I need to shift directions a little bit and give myself something a little bit different to focus on. So I hope that's not super disappointing to anybody. But with that change, there is exciting things to be focusing on. I think that part of the need for this shift, also not only just with my health and feeling like I have neglected my business and not been able to put into it what I had been used to putting into it, social media is like a constant. It feels like you have to constantly be giving it your attention, and that is where I generate, I would say, probably 90% of the traffic to my website. Well, I have my email list, and that definitely is a big portion of it. But in terms of funnels, I would say social media makes up a fairly good portion of traffic to my website, and I have not wanted to focus on it as much lately. I haven't been able to. I've needed to take a step back and not necessarily worry about the algorithm dropping me because I'm not being consistent with it. I've had to just kind of approach it as a when I have the energy sort of a thing, and I love that happy place that I am at with it right now, but that doesn't exactly generate sales, and it doesn't keep things going at the level that I personally would like it to be. And I have personally changed a lot in the last several years, slowed down a lot, not running at the hustle culture pace. So thankful to take a step back from that. I physically, I don't want to say I'm repulsed at it, but I do get that. It does generate those feelings within me that I'm just like, I want no part of it. Much more the slower paced, turn more towards nurturing and rest and not feeling the least bit guilty about taking that rest. It's needed. And I guess trying to model that for my daughters as well, which I feel like has been really important. And just taking more time with them. I know that the time that they are here with me is, I don't know how long it's going to be, but I know that we're getting more on the tail end of it. So I like being able to put some of my energy towards this time with them. And that has also caused me to kind of take a step back from Volume 25 and creating new collections. I know that they've not been as consistent lately. And that's part of the reason. Part of the reason why. Not only had I just completely lost my inspiration, but I felt a little, I can't think of the word, dried up. Like my creative well was dried up. I got a lot of it back last year when I started experimenting with gouache paint. That kind of rejuvenated something in me. And then I got super excited about my Patreon, and I started that in October. Still loving that. That kind of hits a different mark with me. And I like having that outlet. I love sending Happy Mail to my patrons. It's a small community right now, so it feels a little bit personal, and I love where it's at. So I'm been kind of, I guess, still on the search. I was still on the search for something that I could put my time and energy in, and I would feel creatively inspired and excited about it, and I found it. So this is why I'm really excited about that, and this is why I will be changing my focus and not creating collections in the way that I have. So what I'm going to be doing, I am going to be focusing on books. So I'm going to be adding author to my title, which I actually had already done a book before. I published it on Blurb, and I've done baby books in the past, but not like truly focusing on that and trying to create something more into it. It was just kind of this was fun, I enjoyed this, and more of a hobby sort of a thing. But I'm actually truly going to be treating this as a business. And one of the books that I'm wanting to redo or update a little bit is this one. And this is for sale on Blurb. That's, like I said, who I had it published with. But it's extra special to me because I can't read it. So again, what I want to redo would be the cover. Now that I am a little bit better in terms of graphic design, I know what should make a better cover. I can kind of implement that. But it does say by Jessica Rose and Carol Nels. So my mom wrote the story, and then I illustrated the story. And it's extra special, especially now that she has passed. I want to keep the story, change the book size a little bit, but I did enjoy working with the color palette in this that I did. I wanted it to be a little softer, and I did this in 2013. So, I believe it was 2013. It's been a while. Yeah, 2013. You can see I still have my old logo on there before I redid it. But that is one thing I want to do, and I think it would be fun. I would like to do it on a hardcover as a hardback book because I think that would be really sweet. And so that's something that I will do. But I also had a gratitude journal, and you may or may not know that when 2020 hit, I created a free printable gratitude journal, and that was just kind of my way of helping work through a lot of the big emotions that 2020 brought up and honestly is still bringing up. So I had that and it was available to download. Like, you didn't even have to join an email list for it. I just wanted to put it out there for anybody who could benefit from it during that time. And so I took that and I redid it, formatted the interior, redesigned the interior. I added some things. That is pretty much almost done, but I was a little bit overwhelmed with the listing process and formatting the book for print. So I decided that I needed to shelf that idea for now and focus more on like notebooks, because I felt like that was a good, easy entryway in where I could kind of learn some things and kind of build off of that. So for the last few weeks, in addition to bottle feeding baby kittens, which I had no idea was going to be as intense as it was, we're kind of nearing the end of that, and they're going through the weaning phase, and it's been an emotional several weeks because we've lost a couple, and you get so attached to those sweet little creatures. But I think we're on the tail end of that, so I've had a little bit more time. But in the midst of all of that, I had been working on a collection of composition notebooks. So I was really intrigued with just the style of the composition, the basic composition notebook, and then I was able to add in patterns and things that I had actually designed for my wallpaper collection. So it felt really nice to be able to put them to use because I've had them sitting in my file on my computer for literally years now. So I've applied those to some notebooks. I think I know I have 10 up right now. I haven't checked to see today if the designs I added yesterday were added, but I added like 6 more yesterday. I'm trying to batch them because I work better that way. So I'll do a batch of covers, and then I will do a batch of the interiors, and I'm batching them. So I have a few more that are going to be coming up. I ordered author copies, and those should be here the middle of the month. So I can actually show you a physical copy. But right now, I don't have anything to show you other than my little mock-ups on my board here, which maybe I can show you. Yeah, I'll show you. So here's little mock-ups that I did for the notebooks. And I'm pretty sure I ordered pink one. I think I even ordered that one. I think I ordered this one and that one. So I should have actual physical copies of these coming in, I think, middle of the month or so. I got this from the vintage fair on Saturday. So that was a sugarcane mold. So I'm using it to hold my art supplies right now. And then up here, I have an undated calendar that I've been working on as a free printable, and I'm going to send that out in my email. You should already get it if you are a VIP subscriber. And this is just a little extra something I put together just to kind of spoil you guys. And I do have that ready. So I'm going to be sending that out if I have not already got that in your inbox. Also a peek at the gratitude journal that I was working on, but I don't want to show. I don't want to show too much of that just yet. But these are already listed on Amazon if you're interested in checking them out. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's where I've been experimenting with. And in addition to the composition notebooks, I also have so many ideas. I can't write them down quick enough. Like, it literally, when I realized that I could self-publish these books and that this opportunity was open to me and that it was something that was figure-outable, I couldn't stop the ideas. I just keep writing them down as I get them, but there are so many, and I'm so excited about this. I feel like it really merges my love of graphic design and art together, because there's definitely in equal parts graphic design, knowing how to lay something out, knowing how to format it, fonts, that sort of thing, but also pairing it with my artwork. So it feels honestly like the perfect creative avenue for me, and it will be an extra stream of income because I feel like I definitely need to be placing my eggs in different baskets. With inflation and everything, it is just getting so hard for me to buy the materials and still keep it affordable. I mean, sales have not been what they were. It's been getting increasingly harder as a small business to keep things afloat to where I'm even just paying the fees that I have. There's been some weeks where I'm struggling just to make enough to cover my website fees, my email fees, the fees that as of running a business I have, which I'm thankful that there's not a lot of overhead, but there is enough. And I'm not seeing enough consistency for that to work out. So I would like to kind of create some other things. I feel like this opportunity feels incredibly freeing to me. It will not depend on me packaging and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to doing this, getting it going, and sharing my art with a broader range of people in different formats, because there are so many ways I can take it. I want to do cut and paste books, scissor skill books, where kids learn how to maneuver scissors, and the books can get increasingly harder as they develop those skills. I really want to do some how to draw books. I think those would be so sweet to do, and the main purpose of those, I feel like how I would structure them, would be for kids to just kind of gain confidence. They're not necessarily going to be like a in-depth, thorough how to draw book, but more of a, you can copy this, you can gain some confidence, and you can take it elsewhere. I was completely self-taught. I never went to any professional school. I went through art class up until 8th grade, and that was pretty much the extent of whatever training I had. And I think that was really key for me, because I wasn't set in somebody else's rigid structures of how something should be done. So I was able to creatively play with things, make my own mistakes, find what I wanted without the influence of somebody else teaching me how something should or shouldn't be. Art is so subjective. And as an artist, we have our own creative license. That was something that totally stuck with me when I was 16 years old. I had my art placed in the local gallery, and it was pencil at the time. I was very, very much into the pencil world. And the woman who kind of took me under her wing and really kind of nurtured my my passion was just really influential. But something she had said has always stuck out with me. I remember she was talking about the clouds and this drawing that I had done, and I was asking her opinion on it, and she says, as an artist, you have a creative artist license. Like, if you want the clouds to be different than what the picture is, you do that. Like, that is your license to do. And it's just always stuck with me. And I feel like to ingrain that in children. Like, you don't have to completely be rigid in how you do things. And so those are books that I feel like I have a passion for, and they would be a lot of fun to create. And I also think it would be really fun to do a garden planner journal. I actually started one in 2020 for myself, and I never finished it. So that's something else I could pick up. And it's been something that I have been very, very excited about. It's been really hard not like mentioning it to you guys or sharing kind of like what I've been doing. But I felt like I needed to get this video out. I don't know why, but in my head, that was an order that needed to be done. So that's where I'm going to be going with it. I hope you guys aren't too disappointed. I'm going to try and still do the winter collection, because I know that is so many of your guys' favorite collection. It's my favorite collection to create. It does take a lot though, between the actual building out of the collection to doing all of the artwork and the photographing and then planning out the marketing. And that's usually around like one of the busiest times of the year. So if I do it, I probably will try to get it done a little bit sooner, so I'm not waiting till the last minute. I say that every year though. But this year, I may make it more of a priority. But there's also that possibility that I just won't be able to. But I'm going to try. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to be releasing other collections, because I do want to create book collections, because I do like working with the structure. I think that launching collections in terms of books could be something that I could really enjoy. I work better in that format. So I think the biggest thing that I would love in terms of help from you guys is just to let me know what you want me to do. Like, is there a certain sort of a book that would be useful to you, a logbook, a journal, a themed journal, some sort of a kid's book. I do have a children's book in my head that I have had for several years, but I never felt like I had the time to put into it. And I also always felt like I needed to have a specific program. I had in my head this design of how the illustration should be, and I didn't think I had the skill set to quite get them at that point yet. And I felt like I needed Procreate, and I don't even have an iPad. I've never been an Apple. I've always been Windows, Android user. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a jump. And because the business hasn't been bringing in as much, I haven't had as much to reinvest back into it. So that's been a little bit out of my reach, and I'm tired of waiting on it. I have the tools that I have now. I can create something, and I think it will still be amazing. And even if it's not, I will build on that. Like you could get better by doing the things. You don't get better by planning to do the things. So this is me stepping out on a new path. I'm gonna do the thing. I would love for you guys to join me. I would love to hear how this new path can maybe benefit from you guys, how I can use my art to serve different needs that you might have. I'd love to hear it. You guys are full of the best ideas. Maybe leave a comment below telling me, what this might be. I'm also going to have a survey in my newsletter. I'll probably write my newsletter before I send this out. So if you are a VIP, please check your email because I have the survey already in there. It'll be a multiple choice, super quick thing. If you have voted on any of the things in the past, it's super quick, super easy, and it would be so valuable for me to know where to focus my energy and my excitement, because right now there are so many ideas. I can zero in on one. I have the ability to do that, but I would love to zero in on the one you guys would appreciate the best. So I think that's all I have to say for my update. I feel like I probably left something out. Coloring books, that's something else I want to do. Like I said, there's just like my brain feels so free in the best possible ways. And ironically, I don't know if very many people know this, but when I started out on Etsy years ago, so it probably would have been 16 years ago, I feel so old, I started my Etsy shop with the intentions on publishing baby books. So that was the product that I felt like I had that I could offer the world. It didn't do very well. I mean, I think I sold 2. They were completely handmade because I didn't have the best luck with printers back then reproducing what I had created. I did like soft pastels and they were very sweet, but like reproductions came out blotchy and saturated in spots, and it wasn't an accurate representation. So I would design the text and everything, the text document, I would print that, and then I would do my illustrations around the edges of the paper. And so they were all completely handmade. The cover was customized. They were an expensive item, and I think I sold 2 before I realized that this was not a viable business. And then I started doing graphic design for people. Again, no experience in it whatsoever, but I started out designing Etsy banners for sellers, and then I started working on packaging for them. I would design soap wrappers and anything, business cards. I did a lot of business cards for people. And that was really fun. Like, I didn't know that I had an interest in that, but that was kind of what grew it for me. The custom aspect of it was really hard. I was actually expecting my second around that time, and I would, create alterations for the people, and then I would send them the design, and then they would give me feedback. And so it was a lot of back and forth, and I always really tried to work around their schedule, so it wasn't as convenient for me. And I eventually decided that I would learn digital art, and that was when I learned how to create art digitally, and I opened my second Etsy shop, Volume 25, and later, closed down my first one. But that was kind of the beginning of my time on Etsy, was creating books. So in a way, I've gone completely full circle, which is crazy. And now I get to pair them both. I get to build off of those skill sets that I've been able to learn over the years, and I'm really excited about it. So I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this, and hopefully you aren't too disappointed. I would like to still create new art. I just don't know that I'll be releasing it in terms of prints, wall hangings, or tapestries. I still have a lot of ideas for that stuff. So I don't want to completely say like that I'm stepping back from it or that that door is closing. It just feels like I'm just going to, I'm going to leave it cracked if that's a good representation, because it all still really excites me. But I just think that in this season of my life, this is what I need to kind of maybe regroup, reground myself, and re-nurture and just reevaluate things. It feels like the time, and it feels so right. So I would love for you to join me on it. And thank you for sticking with me through this and watching till the end. If you're still here, you are a rock star. I appreciate you so much. And I hope you have an amazing day or evening, whatever time it is, when you finally get around to watching this novel of a video.